Welcome back to Book Break and welcome to the May book haul. I have got here a very exciting box of books. I'm trying not to look at what's in it because it's going to be a surprise. This has been specially packed for me by Elle, the other half of the Book Break team, and it is packed full of some of the most exciting books that we have published here at Macmillan over the month of May. And right on the top here, just going to dive straight in. Kissed Showerwheeler by Casey McQuiston. This was a book that was really highly anticipated. Casey McQuiston is, of course, the author of the beloved Red, White and Royal Blue, as well as One Last Stop, and this is their first YA title, and it is so much fun. I have already raced through this one. Kissed Showerwheeler is about a girl called Showerwheeler who kisses 3 people, her boyfriend, the boy next door who's had a crush on her his whole life, and Chloe, her rival for valedictorian. And then she vanishes, leaving behind a clue in a pink envelope. And so those 3 characters, Chloe, Smith, who's the boyfriend, and Rory, who is the boy next door, all have to team up to solve this treasure hunt of sorts that Shara left for them. The book is so much fun. You're racing to solve all of the clues alongside the characters. It's also got so many references that I love, so many pop culture references. It's like reading a modern queer version of the Jordan Nicholson books. And there are so many characters in here that I just completely loved. Characters that subvert a lot of the high school movie tropes and unlikely friendships and unlikely romances that just change everything that we are used to reading about and watching. So it's really fun. It lives up to the hype. Then I can see a pile of books that are newly out in paperback. So all of these, if you've been waiting for the paperback release, now is the time. Making It by Jay Blades. This is Jay Blades' story of how love, kindness and community helped me repair my life. Jay Blades is now really famous for being on The Repair Shop, but his backstory isn't all that easy, and so the book is really about the ways that he overcame adversity in his life. Ooh, and I've just seen that this paperback edition has a new afterword from Jay talking about his reaction to how this story has gone down with people and resonated with people. What a guy. This next one, The Melting by Lee Spit, also out now in paperback. This one is a lot darker. So this book is translated from Dutch. It's a literary psychological thriller. It's about a young woman who is going back to the hometown where she grew up. She had 2 male best friends there, and as children they invented this game that turned out to have very serious and very violent consequences. And the book goes to some very dark places. It is sad, it is shocking, and it is a book that has really been sticking with people. Going back to something a bit lighter, Black Water Sister by Zen Cho, now out in paperback. This one got so buzzed about when it was out last year in hardback. It's a fantasy story set in Malaysia. The main character, Jess, is going to Malaysia for the first time since she was a toddler, and she is packing her bags when she starts to hear a voice in her head. And it turns out that the voice in her head is not just imagined, it is actually the ghost of her grandma, a very opinionated grandma who is setting out on a mission to get revenge on someone who disrespected the local water god that the grandmother worships. And she needs Jess to help her on this mission. It says here, her grandmother may be dead, but she's not done with life. So many people had such a great reaction to this book, and it's so colourful and gorgeous. So if you missed it the first time round, now is the time. And one more now out in paperback, Cracking the Menopause by Mariella Frostrup and Alice Smelly. So this is about how to crack the menopause while keeping yourself together. The reason that they wrote this book is that despite half of humanity experiencing the menopause at some point, it remains really under-researched and underfunded with a truly terrible public image. So this book has got personal stories about their own experiences of menopause, it's got case studies, so you get a big range of experiences. It's also got tips for how to handle it, and it looks at the outrageous lack of research and investigates the truth about what we should do. Okay, moving on to something very different. This is gorgeous. The Moomin 123. This is an illustrated counting book. Look at this, we're going to have story time. 1 Moomin, round and white. 2 sisters, different heights. 3 umbrellas, keep us dry. I won't do the whole book, I promise. 4 birds fly through the sky. I'm already having such a good time. Okay, this is the Yoga Manifesto. I've been hearing a lot about this book. So the book is this investigation into how yoga has evolved into this billion-dollar industry and what costs that has had on yoga itself. And also who actually benefits from that. It's not generally the people from the communities where yoga developed. So the book looks ahead to a brighter, more inclusive future, how we can work together to restore yoga and preserve its roots. We have another book from The Secret Barrister, Nothing But the Truth. So this one is stories of crime, guilt, and the loss of innocence. Dramatic. So The Secret Barrister, I don't even know who this is, but they have a lot of insider secrets to report. The book reveals the darker side of working in criminal law and how the things our justice system gets wrong are not the things most people expect. That is really interesting. This is now the third book by The Secret Barrister, so they have been revealing a lot of uncomfortable and surprising truths. Another non-fiction here, The Colour of Madness. This is a really lovely looking book. This is about mental health and race, so it's actually a collection. It features memoir, it features poetry, short fiction, artwork. It's an anthology that shines a light on the experiences of mental health, specifically for people of colour. Because, did you know, statistics show that ethnic minorities in the UK have more negative experiences in mental health services and poorer outcomes compared to their white counterparts. So what this collection is doing is featuring a diverse range of voices who have, until now, been excluded from a lot of the mainstream mental health narratives. So it's really important. It's fantastic that mental health is becoming such a bigger and bigger conversation, but if it's not inclusive, then who are we helping? Oh, there's so many colours left in this box. Okay, next I'm going to go for this rainbow one. Catch the Rabbit by Lana Bastashitz. This is another one that is out now in paperback. This is about childhood friends, Layla and Sarah, who have not spoken in 12 years, but an unexpected phone call brings them together and they go on this road trip. As you can see from the cover, a very colourful road trip. I love this. I think it's gorgeous. Catch the Rabbit lays bare the intricacies of female friendship and all the ways in which the ones we love can hurt, love, disappoint, and misunderstand us. You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao. This has been suddenly getting really, really popular on TikTok. I'm pretty certain, I haven't read this one, but I'm pretty certain this is one people have been crying over a lot. So this is about a 17-year-old called Julie who's got her future all planned out until her boyfriend Sam dies and everything changes. Heartbroken and desperate to hear him one more time, Julie calls Sam's phone just to listen to his voicemail recording, and Sam picks up. The connection is temporary, but hearing Sam's voice makes Julie fall for him all over again, and with each call it becomes harder to let him go. Oh, that's really sad. I can see why that's making people cry. It's also very, very beautiful. I love the blossom on this cover. Oh, where to go next? All the Lovers in the Night by Mieko Kawakami. Mieko Kawakami is the author of Breast and Eggs and Heaven, both of which have been really, really popular translated fiction. This is an extraordinary, deeply moving and insightful story set in contemporary Tokyo. Ooh, and it's about a chance encounter between a lonely woman and a man that makes this woman start to see the world in a different light. Kawakami writes women's inner lives really, really interestingly. I think that's what's made her books so popular so far. So this is bound to be no exception. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet, but I remember hearing about it. The Red Tent by Anita Diamant. This is actually a classic novel that is being republished now. It's a retelling of a Bible story. I love retellings of classic stories like that. Amazing. It's a feminist classic that combines outstandingly rich storytelling with an original insight into women's society. I also feel like I have a memory that this is one of Julia Roberts' favourite books, so I trust her. Oh yeah, she's blurbed it here. She says it's riveting. She says it's just wonderful. So it's about Dinah, who is mentioned in the Bible within the book of Genesis, but only kind of hinted at in stories that are about her father, Jacob, and his dozen sons. One of them is Joseph, right? And the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I think I'm on the right story there. So Dinah is the sister, and this book is told from her perspective, revealing the traditions and turmoil of womanhood. Then we have this beautiful thing, The Dance Tree by Kieran Millward Hargrave. This story sounds so interesting. So this is based on a true story. It's set during the dancing plague of, let me remember the year, 1518 in Strasbourg. This is a real thing that happened. There was a dancing plague. It started with one woman, started dancing in the street, and it became this phenomenon. Was it caused by mass hysteria? Was it caused by some religious phenomenon or some possession by the devil? These were all the theories that were going around at the time, and for weeks on end, more and more people, particularly young women, just started dancing in the streets and seemingly couldn't stop. Some of them even danced themselves to death, so the rumours go. So this story is set against that backdrop. Already so fascinating. Then we've got, this book looks really fun. This is The Accidental Medium by Tracy Whitwell. Who needs the living when the dead have so many secrets to tell? So let me remind myself. I remember thinking the main character in this sounded great. Tans. Her name is Tans. Tans is a wine-loving, straight-talking, once successful TV actress from Gateshead whose career has shriveled like an antique walnut. When she starts to work in a new age shop, Tan suddenly discovers that the voices she's hearing in her head are not just her imagination, but are in fact messages from beyond the grave. Thinking back to Blackwater Sister with this one. So basically she discovers that she is a psychic medium, and it turns out that that little skill is going to come very handy when there is a murder that she needs to solve. Soul Sisters by Leslie Loco, out now in paperback. This is about two childhood friends, Jen and Kemi, who have lived like sisters in this family home in Edinburgh, brought together by a shared family history which stretches back generations, and the ties that bind them are strong and complicated. And this book is kind of told between two timelines. We have the present day, where they travel back to South Africa, and then we also learn more and more about the backstory of their families. The real story behind Jen and Kemi's connection threatens to emerge, which will have devastating consequences for them both. And finally, there is just one more book in here, and it is adorable. This is I Love Me. This is written by Marvin Harrison, who is the founder of Dope Black Dads, illustrated by Diane Ewan, who also illustrated Floella Benjamin's picture books. And it's the first book to build confidence and self-esteem, which is just such a wonderful thing that this book exists. Look at this. Every morning we look into the mirror with Daddy. Together we say words to help us feel proud and brave, powerful and strong. And then it goes through the different days of the week with different affirmations for children to say to themselves in the mirror. Like, I am brave, and examples of them being brave. I play on the big slide. I'm brave when I try something new. It's just such a lovely, empowering idea, this book for young children. So this is really, really sweet. And I'm going to borrow some of these affirmations myself. So there we go, that was our May book haul. Let me know in the comments below which of those books you're most excited to pick up. And I will also link here to a playlist of all of our other book hauls so you can go back and browse through and get more shopping inspiration. And I'll see you next time.